What's going on, everybody? What's up? Welcome back to the channel, Fauci Cinema. If you're new here, please think about subscribing, hanging around, like this video, of course, because it's important to me. All the support I get from you guys is fantastic. This redo review series I just did from Friday the 13th was very successful on the channel. Definitely got a lot of new subscribers from it. It was a really, really fun time revisiting all these, minus Jason X, which I swear I'm going to do it. I got to do it tomorrow. I have to. Even if it's only 30 minutes, I got to do it. But yeah, I wanted to wrap it up with a Friday the 13th redo ranking. Rank this franchise from worst to best, even including the brand new Jason Universe Vignette, however you say that fancy ass word, sweet motherfucking revenge. And I'm going to do this ranking with a buddy, a great friend of the channel, Davey Mother Truckin' Death Ray, ladies and gentlemen. That guy right there.
What's happening, everyone? How are you guys doing? How are you doing, Matt?
Good. Glad to have you back on the channel. Always a pleasure, my man. And looking suave at that, my friend. Look at
Thank you.
Guy.
Yeah, Jason X is a rough one, man. It's every time I watch it, I'm like, I don't think I ever want to watch this movie again.
Thank you. I'm not the only one, because everyone's like, no, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm like, no.
It doesn't mean any harm, Jason X.
No.
But
I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, man, I've been really digging your series, and it's been going since beginning of June, end of May. It's been a little bit.
It's been a minute. It's at least June. So kind of wrapping it up tonight, except for probably I'll be tomorrow, maybe half an hour just to do Jason X to get it out of the way. And then it's over. Then we'll move on to something else and see how it's going to go. Spooky season's coming. So
yes, yeah,
I know.
I'm already prepping and going to be recording some stuff for that. So yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of it this year, because last year I was like trying to play catch up the whole time.
Yeah, I know you went crazy, man. You did a lot of content last year. So like you said, get a heads up on it now. That way, don't got to worry about it later. Let me pull this onto the stream like we do over here. Hello, chat, you wonderful people. Let's say hello real quick before we jump into our rankings. We have Shot by Shot. I know you've been craving Jason X. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow, I swear. I'm going to try to do it. I know you want to see it. Kim, what's going on? We got Chester Franklin Jr. What's up, Chester? We have the wonderful Brooks here. Hey, Brooke Lamontra. Rosie, my darling, how are you? Oh, a bunch of familiar faces. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Zodiac Z, Ashton, what's up? All the same faces that travel back and forth in the community. Gotta love it.
Rosie, I would love to see you over on my channel sometime, because you're so damn funny in the chat. She cracks me up, man. Every time I jump on a Good Reel stream,
she is
dropping all the amazing puns, like the good, like not the dad joke. Like her puns are solid jokes. I dig Rosie.
Not like Brett. Just kidding, Brett. I love you, man. We got Sub, what's going on? Dynamite Tiger, what's going on? Adrian James, I saw Gory Tiger in here. Beautiful people in here for sure. Amanda, I know she's always on your channel, so glad to see her over here. Welcome in. Dean Renner's here. What's up, Dean? How is your channel going, brother? Some Davey Deathray, some guy maybe. Antonis, what's up, Antonis? He says he finally watched Jurassic World Rebirth. Have you seen it? I have not.
I did see it. I saw it on the. It was like one of those screen unseen that I went and saw like a week and a half early.
Mm-hmm.
And I, for what it is, whenever I watch a movie, I just try to like judge it and think about it from within the confines of what it's trying to be. It's trying to be a global success blockbuster film, and it delivered for me on that. It's like a Fetch Quest video game kind of thing. So, it was good. It was good for what it was. Like, it didn't blow my mind or anything, but yeah, I mean, it was fine.
I didn't see it yet, so I thought I was in a rush to see it, but
the kids will love it. The kids will love it. Like, it's fun for what it is, for sure.
I definitely want to check it out, though, for sure. We have Daz in the chat. What's going on? I'm trying to think if I missed anyone. If I see anybody jump in here that is new, I will give Eli Cortez. What's going on, Eli? Okay. He says, don't forget to slash that like button and sub to both channels. We appreciate it very, very much. So please do. All right. So obviously, we're ranking the Friday the 13th franchise from worst to the best, including Sweet Revenge. I don't know why we want to put ourselves through that one, but we're going to include it anyway. And yeah, put a poll in the chat right now. I wanted to know. I didn't put Sweet Revenge in the question, though. Which is your least favorite Friday the 13th? Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason X. I threw in the New Blood because it's kind of boring. So I threw that one in there as well. So please feel free to answer that one. And we're going to get this ranking rolling. And since Davey's the guest here, I will let him kick it off with his number 13.
Yeah, number 13 for me is going to be Sweet Revenge. And the reason why, ultimately, is it's not a complete story. So, what I'd be interested in, if they end up making a conclusion, maybe they put together a couple more of these Angry Orchard commercials or whatever. Maybe they like team up with some other booze hound kind of company later on. But if they do like another, at least, I'm thinking at least one more. And then you've got like a true like short film, like a fan film length thing, then maybe it will make this first chapter a little bit better. But seeing as how there's a bunch of intrigue, like I'm definitely interested in what would be next with Sweet Revenge, but we don't get very much. I'm not sold on the mask. I know that's not a controversial thing to say at all, because this mask Skylar White that plays Jason in this short film, everyone's like, oh, he's so small, and I'm like, the dude's 6'6". He's one of the biggest guys to play Jason. It's the mask and it's the way that they shot him. That's what makes him look small. He might be like relatively slender compared to like Ted White and Richard Brooker, not as thick as Kane, but Kane's like maybe 6 feet with the boots on, like not a very, was never a tall guy. So it's about the way you shoot him. It's about the way that mask just sort of like it's like this big, you know what I mean? Like even Vincent DeSanti looked small wearing the mask on his Instagram post, and Skylar White's a few inches taller than Vin. So I'm like, that's all, hopefully they could figure that out. But yeah, Sweet Revenge, it just doesn't give us enough to even knock out any of the lesser films in the franchise, because, they give us a full film. So we get a full story and plenty of fun, even if they are terrible.
Yes. I'm going to go with Sweet Revenge at 13 as well. Basically because of what you said. There wasn't much to go off of, really. It was a short 13-minute thing. We got introduced to the characters. We know nothing about any of them. And then 6 minutes later, they're all dead, besides the main one. So, yeah. And technically she's dead too, but not dead. Yeah.
She had a little bit of that Mia from Evil Dead 2013 look going on with the dark circles around her eyes and everything. Yeah.
Yep. She came out of the lake, and I looked at me and my wife for like, what the hell's up with her face? Like, why where'd she turn into a raccoon all of a sudden? The kills were good for what this was supposed to be. It was a nice
Yeah.
attempt at trying to make them gory and awesome. Um, yeah, we had the Angry Orchard stuff in there. Yeah,
What did you think of? Because I feel like Jason's never been the one to really go like the full display route. What did you think of the disembodied parts like hung up on the clothesline? That's more of a Pamela thing from the first movie.
yeah.
Jason is not really like the decorative type. I think of that as sort of a Michael Myers kind of trait.
Jason's more of the hiding guy.
Yeah, so part of me is just kind of like, oh, I mean, I guess there's been a couple times in the New Blood. There is a time where like the guy's head is like displayed on the coffee table or whatever. But yeah, some of the stuff I was just like, oh, I wonder. Every now and then there's that confusion, and you don't ever want it to come from the creators of the piece or the people that have the rights to a franchise.
Mhm.
But there's that confusion. The fans confuse it all the time. Like when Jamie Lee Curtis was doing press for 2018, and this guy was like, "What does it feel like having that, or having Jason chase after you?" And she's like, "Wrong movie." Like that's when I saw that, I was like, wrong villain, wrong slasher villain with the body parts and everything. But yeah, that kill with the boat motor, that was a nice little. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to seeing some of that gore in Mike P. Nelson's Silent Night, Deadly Night remake that's coming out later this year.
I'm really shocked that one's going to theaters still, though. But it is so
unrated going to theaters. Yeah, man, they're taking that big Terrifier 3 swing.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But as far as this one goes, The Mask, like everybody already said, not the biggest fan. Yeah. I mean, it looked good in some of the shots. But I just think it's the presentation of Jason that kind of was just like, eh.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. It's your channel.
It looks like it. Like I told you whenever we were talking earlier this week about it, it's like he's basically like teenage Jason to me. Like he's like a teenager. He's just not the full man version yet. Maybe that is what they were trying to go for. I don't know.
Yeah, and I've heard people say it looks like an anime thing. They just announced that toy that's coming out. It's like U-Tunes or whatever. It's sort of like a vinyl pop thing, but it's not Funko that's doing it. But it's funny because the proportions look almost exactly, even though they purposely give him like a big head. I'm like, that's kind of what he looks like. It's just sort of like a little goofy looking. And man, the eye holes. Oh my God. Why are the eye holes like Neo's sunglasses from The Matrix? Like why? Like Jason's eye holes are circular. And I guess if that's a rights thing, if they had to change it, if they couldn't do circular, but it's circular eye holes, and I don't know what it is. I know I'm on one about these friggin' eye holes, but to me, that's the biggest offense there on The Mask.
I guess the only way to go is up from here, I guess.
I fucking hope so.
Fingers crossed. But we're not going to talk about Sweet Revenge anymore tonight. We're done with that.
There we go.
So moving on to your number 12.
Yeah, so my number 12's, about a little bit over a year ago, I put together a ranking on the channel, and I went through it today, before jumping on here with you, because I wanted to see if anything changed. So some of these changed, but my number 12 is still the same. I've got Jason Takes Manhattan in my number 12. And, one of the reasons for this is the censored kills. That was a big thing in the late 80s. It affected A New Beginning and The New Blood. And, Jason Lives a little bit, but Jason Takes Manhattan, you hardly see anything. I do like Wet Jason, that look. I kind of like, I'm warming up to like the yellow mask. Doesn't really bug me too much or anything like that. There's some moments in here. I kind of like the bitchy characters. Like I like the bitchy blonde is one of my favorites. I don't know why. She's just so much fun and such a jerk. And then Charles is like, I love how much of a jerk he is. Like when he finally gets it, you're so pumped that he finally gets it. But yeah, ultimately, like Jason Takes Manhattan is, it feels like work getting through it for me. Wow. Yeah.
Blu-ray, damn.
Whoa, yeah. The original has, I've warmed up to the original quite a bit, but my feelings, every year or two, they kind of, change a little bit on some of these movies with all of the franchises for the most part. Yeah.
Okay. My number 12. This probably isn't a surprise to anyone. Jason X.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely hate this movie. I know people are like, I don't hate any movie in any franchise. I love them. No, I hate this movie. I don't watch this movie. I don't want to rewatch this movie. When it came out, yes, I liked it, but I was also like 12 or 13, so of course I
Yeah.
liked it. It was my first Jason movie in the theater. That did not stick with me as I got older, though. Unfortunately, I Uber Jason's fine. He's fine. I don't hate how he looks, but whatever. It's like Power Rangers episode when it gets to that point. To be honest, the characters. I know it's a Friday the 13th. They're not going to be the best. I think they're terrible. Rowan is the final girl. She's fine. She's
Mm.
cute to look at. So I mean,
Hmm.
it's fine. Brodsky's probably the best character in the whole movie, and we don't even get that much of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, kills are fine. Cryo face smash is amazing, but everything else, a lot of CGI. And this movie had a huge budget, which I don't know. I don't know where it's going because
Yeah,
it looks
exactly.
cheap. So, yeah. Number 12, Jason X for me.
Yeah, that's my number 11.
There we go.
So I guess I'll just bounce off what you were saying. Yeah, I think this movie looks like a sci-fi original show or like a Star Trek spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
The set design I think is what's really bringing it down in production value. And I'm like, there's very few things I'm a stickler about. Production value is a big thing for me. Whether I'm watching a fan film or I'm watching a film that's official part of a franchise, I want the production value to be there. I don't really see it with Jason X. I think they were being pretty ambitious by with the CG and everything. They are trying to push it, and for the time, it might have looked a little bit better, and that might have been where some of the money went. I think a lot of the money in this movie probably went to the digital film, because I think it was the first movie ever shot completely digitally. It wasn't the first movie released digitally, because episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was the first movie shot on digital film that was released in the theaters. But Jason X, there was like this big limbo between it being shot and being released. So like the intro is really like the CG on the intro looks very expensive and everything like that. I don't mind the way Jason looks at the beginning, like when you've got like, what is it? Is it Cronenberg that's in there in the beginning? I kind of like the way they're sort of setting it up. It seems like there are like seeds for a good idea here, but ultimately, yeah, it just feels like a TV show. And yeah, cryo freeze kill, awesome. It's going to be one of those things people always talk about to defend the film. Kind of like when people talk about Halloween 4, they're like, oh, it's so atmospheric, and it's really just like the intro that's like super atmospheric. Jason X gets a lot of credit for that one kill that is pretty damn awesome. And yeah, I mean, they have some fun with this one. I think they know what they're doing. Jason's got a lot of kills. That whole like SWAT team like clean out that he does is kind of fun. It's probably about as fun as it gets. This movie, ultimately not very satisfying. I don't watch it. I watch Takes Manhattan more, but I'll give Jason X the edge for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it'll change.
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know. Yeah, it's just
for the cryo kill. There we go.
Like you said,
it at least has gore.
All the other kills are like it's ridden with CGI throughout the whole movie. So
the screwed kill is kind of nice. It's kind of fun, It's So I'll give it. And then getting sucked through the grate when she's like, "This sucks on so many levels." Like there are a couple fun moments. I just don't think that Takes Manhattan really has those like fun, memorable moments, other than what's his face getting his Julius getting his head punched off. Is probably about as fun as it gets.
Yeah. Okay. My next one might be a hot take. My number 11, Freddy vs. Jason. Another movie I saw in the theaters, saw at the drive-ins, absolutely loved it. Once again, was only about maybe 15 at this point. So, of course, I really, really enjoyed it. As I got older, I don't rewatch this movie either. It is if you hear this from a lot of people, it's way better of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie than a Friday the 13th movie. Robert Englund is fantastic. Ken Kirzinger's Jason, on the other hand, is not. Uh, very Frankenstein-y, very lumbering. Not my kind of Jason at all. And he has like a shiny ass black head. I don't know what that is, but he has it.
He is full on like zombie. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It just doesn't work for me. But obviously, if somebody is a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan and Freddy fan, they're gonna like this movie a lot more than I do. Um, the kills are fine. The bed smash one's pretty cool. A lot of CGI, especially at the cornfield scene when he's slicing shit up and nobody's even. He missed the one guy completely and the blood still sprays out of him. I
Oh, I
notice it
haven't
every
even noticed
time.
that. I haven't even
Yes.
noticed that. I'll have to check it out next time.
Watch.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, but when he's on fire in the corn, though, like that's fire. No pun intended. But but other than and Monica Keena, I mean, obviously she looks beautiful, but they're all kind of annoying, really, in my opinion. I just not a fan of this movie. I know a lot of and people waited for this movie forever. We never got it, and then we finally got it, and it was this. The reason they came together to fight, I guess, it's probably the best way you could have done it. But for me, it's basically like an hour and a half Freddy vs. Jason music video, and it's just not my thing. So, Freddy vs. Jason, number 11.
Yeah, and just like with the last time around, my number 10 is Freddy vs. Jason.
Yes.
So, we're pretty close here so far. Yeah, there's something about Ronnie Yu's movies that I think they were fun for the time that they came out. I think they're like very of the time, which unfortunately means that they're not timeless.
Yeah.
And they don't age as well as some of the other films in these franchises. So, I feel the same way about Bride of Chucky. There's something about it that like when it came out, I loved it. It was so much fun. It felt fresh at the time and all that. The new metal and everything. I see Aaron Click dropping that. If you watch Freddy vs. Jason and you just go over to Bride of Chucky, you can tell that it's the same director. And he does have a style. I will give Ronnie Yu that. I would rather have a director that does have a style and can be defined than somebody that's just like an amorphous sort of blob when it comes to their artistry. So it's more of a taste thing for me. It's not really a critique on Ronnie Yu's ability as a director. It's just sort of like the flavor. So I think one of the things, like, there's nothing wrong with Ken as a performer. I think Ken does a good job with what he's handled. I think, the look of Jason is sort of where they kind of let him down. He does have that Frankenstein-y look. His jacket looks like it's basically a burlap sack. I think it seems like one of the reasons why they chose to go a different direction is because Ronnie Yu could make that decision if he wanted to. And they wanted to have somebody that looked a lot bigger than Robert Englund. And I think Robert is about I think he might even be taller than Kane, or they're about the same height. So I get it. Like it would take a lot more work and you'd have to be more creative with where you put the camera to really make Kane look hulking. It's a shame we didn't get Kane because it just seems like that's what everyone wanted because Kane had built up that resume. Yeah. So to build it up with him and then to have this thing that the fans wanted so badly, but then to sort of change an integral part of the visual storytelling, I think was kind of jarring. And it's one of those things too, like a lot of throwaway characters. We've got our Jason Mewes copy in the movie as well. Yep. We do have some fun kills and there's some stylistic moments that are great. I do like the bed kill, like you said. I like that rave scene just because there's so much mayhem. So it's pretty fun there. But weird stuff like Jason being afraid of water during the fight with Freddy, which doesn't make sense because Jason is a water monster. He's never been afraid of water before. He can't drown. He's already dead. So some of those, playing pinball with Jason is just leaning into the side of Freddy that I don't really like that side of Freddy. I like when Freddy has a sense of humor, but I want it to be a little more dark and not as goofball. Monica Keena, she's not the greatest actress. She is stunningly beautiful in this film. It's a shame she didn't keep on going in horror.
Mhm.
And then, you know, when you date Edward Furlong, I mean, I've been there before, everyone. You start looking like Edward Furlong, unfortunately. But
Wow.
you know, whatever. I mean, you know, no judgment on her. If they're happy, they're happy. I don't even know if they're still together. But I mean, I'll be my normal like pig-headed self and be like, her friggin' rack is amazing and she has a beautiful face. I like looking at her in the
Yes.
movie, but I don't watch Freddy versus Jason very much. You know, and I think one of the reasons why it sort of works better as a Nightmare on Elm Street movie is because I think the Nightmare on Elm Street series is not as solid as Friday the 13th. So there's
Mhm.
more the movies that are bad in A Nightmare on Elm Street are really bad. And so I think this one looks better by comparison.
That's a good point too. That is a very good point. All good points, my friend. But as we both said, Freddy vs. Jason is
Yeah.
downhill.
Yeah.
Happy. Thanks, Coy. Coy became a member. Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it, Coy. Hope your channel's doing well, my friend. And hope you're doing well as well, my friend. Brad Underwood's also in the chat. What's going on,
What's
Brad?
happening, Brad?
What are we up to? So my number 10. We're gonna go with Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Yes, Jason looks fantastic in this film. Kills obviously because the MPAA watered the hell down.
Yeah.
You sent me the clip of all the kills put back in. The kills that were put back in look great, but obviously that's not how it really is. So can't base it off that, unfortunately. Laura Park Lincoln, rest in peace, of course. But Tina's not one of my favorite final girls in the world. If this was a real thing and she really had these powers, she could have killed Jason in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Instead, she likes to play with her food a little bit and keep fucking around. Besides the portrayal of Jason by Kane, it's just not one I go back to. And Bad News Cruz, I mean, he was a nice little added villain within this movie as well.
Yeah.
Tina's love interest, the hell was his name? Was it Rick? No,
Rick is part 3.
Nick.
Nick.
What the hell is Nick?
Is
yeah.
it Nick? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine.
They've got odd chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't like each other in real life, so it wasn't really working in the movie. It's just the sleeping bag kill's cool. The unedited real version of the sleeping bag kill is better, in my opinion. Yeah. Beats the shit out of that girl. Other than the kills are fine, and once again, I don't really like any of these characters in these movies. I know it's not about character development, but I just don't like them. They're not really likable people for the most part. So I got to put it now. The New Blood. I'm sorry.
No, you're we're not very far off. Am I at number 9, 13, 12, 11, 10? So I'm at number 9, right?
Mm-hmm. Eli.
Whoa, interesting. Wow, I think that's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
I think that's a hot take for sure. My number 9 is Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. This one climbed up from my ranking that's on my channel. And I think the reason why it climbs up for me is I love the practical effects here. I really dig them quite a bit. The slow motion, like action scene in the diner, you know, there is straight up, like when she's like cocking the shotgun and everything, like there's just like these Terminator 2 kind of moments that are pretty stylized and pretty cool. There's some great kills in that diner scene. The camp kill where he like takes the signpost, like the street signpost, and just rips that chick in half is gnarly. I mean, I just remember that blowing my mind as a kid because this was like the first one that you could get like unrated on VHS when it came out. And that just kind of blew my mind. I'd never seen, especially after everything the MPAA had done leading up to this point, you know, to go from Jason Takes Manhattan to Jason Goes to Hell. It was just like, oh my God, it felt like, against the law, like just how gory it was and everything. I really dig the opening, the way the opening kind of plays with the audience's expectations and everything like that. I think it's a pretty interesting way to open up the film. You know, and another positive, a big positive for me is I love the character. Absolutely adore Steven as a character. I think he is awesome. He, to me, is one of the strongest points. I love that he's got kind of a nerdy look, but that he's also got like these Ash Williams kind of qualities. The moment where he jumps over his handcuffs, you know, his hands are cupped behind his back, jumps over, grabs the gun. He's just like a man of action. And I love that he's sort of unassuming in appearance, but yet that we get that action from him. I really appreciate that. And then things that hold this movie back. I mean, obviously you don't get as much Jason because of the transference and everything like that continues on through the movie. And the music really, it just sounds really cheap. I think it might be Harry Manfredini that does the music, but they're using these like synths. And I'm such a music guy, guys, everyone in the chat. Like that's the background that I come from. I played music and, you know, produced and recorded music for years and stuff like that. So there's something about those orchestral hits that are just so like cheap sounding, the synth voices, that it just, that sort of keeps it where it's at. But I do appreciate the chances this movie takes. So it's climbed up a couple spots from my previous ranking.
Okay. I'm going to talk about that one shortly. Number 9 for me is Jason Takes Manhattan, a movie that was always my last place movie. I hated this movie. It was terrible. I don't know what it is, but I just rewatch it a lot, and it has a lot of stupid charm. I don't know why, but it does. Juicy Jason is... I complained he was wet all the time and didn't dry off, but he really didn't have a chance to dry off, honestly, because he was in the water. He got on the one boat. He got off that one boat into the water again, back on another boat. Then it's raining, and then he's back in the water again. And so I guess he was wet really the entire time.
He's soaking it up like a sponge. You know, his dead body, his Muppet body is soaking it up like a sponge.
Every time he walks, squish, squish, squish.
Yep.
Grabbing stuff, all the slime's dripping off. The yellow mask, something about it. I don't know why, but I do dig it. Once again, though, characters are terrible. Rennie is probably the worst final girl in the franchise, in my opinion.
She's so cute, but just a kind of a nothing burger for a final girl.
No personality, nothing. And then her boyfriend, Sean, he's awful as well. He's pretty terrible. Uncle Charles, he's at least interesting, and the blonde girl, which I can't think of her name.
I can't remember her name either, but she's just so hot to me. She's the bitchy. There's something about a bitchy blonde.
Tamara. It's Tamara.
Okay.
I don't know, something about it. And then when they get to New York, and it just, obviously the shot of him in Times Square is fantastic. Everything else is in Canada, obviously. I don't know, just something about it. I can't even explain it, why it's even this high, because it's not really what I'm going to go out of my way to watch either. But
have you ever watched it with the commentary, the audio commentary with like Rennie, the actress that played Rennie?
I have not.
That's how I enjoy this movie most. I get a way bigger kick out of watching this movie with the commentary. I'm a big I'm a big commentary guy, and so it's just so much fun because it's the guy that plays the boyfriend. You said Sean, is that his name? So it's like Sean and Rennie that are on the commentary, and it's just hilarious. They're like talking about how poor their style was and how bad their hair was, and they're like totally taking the piss out of it. So it makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't really like that movie, and I totally understand why. Let me go ahead and close the pool I had in there for the worst in the franchise. And the loser is Jason Goes to Hell. 35% of the votes, followed by Jason Takes Manhattan, 29%, Jason X, 29%, and The New Blood, only 6% of the votes. So, according to the chat, Jason Goes to Hell is the worst in the franchise, ladies and gentlemen.
Pretty close with those three. With those three.
It could go, I guess it could go either way, depending on today, tomorrow, whenever. It might be flip-flop a little bit. Okay, so we are on your number 8.
Yeah, so my number 8 is The New Blood. And this one, I think it might be in the same spot that it was on my ranking. It was, when I was a kid, this was like my favorite. You know, I watched all these movies on the USA Network for the first time. They were all censored. So the New Blood, by comparison, when you're watching all of them, edited for television, the New Blood does look, it's pretty entertaining because you're not getting any of the boobs or the gore from any of the films. So, the look of Jason, I absolutely love it. I do think it's the coolest he ever looked, the most interesting he ever looked, seeing his rib cage and his spine and everything, the little, just all the damage from the mask. I love that, hiring a special effects guy, like giving John Carl Buechler the reins at directing a film, I think is a brilliant move in a slasher franchise. And we've seen that, that's finally kind of come full circle with somebody like Damien Leone, bringing Terrifier into the fray. And that, of course, that's his own original idea, but he also is, did the effects in the first film. And I think he's supervised and helped out with the effects on the subsequent films as well. It's just really a shame that the MPAA did what they did. It's an even bigger shame that Paramount didn't, keep those, keep all of that extra footage safe and secure, because then we can never get that cut. And unfortunately for John Carl Buechler, he passed away relatively young. And I really enjoy a lot of the work that he, contributed to us as horror fans. I mean, The Curse of Michael Myers mask is one of my favorite masks in the Halloween franchise. And he's done a whole bunch of other projects as well. So, New Blood, like you said, characters aren't really too memorable. We get another bitchy blonde with the pearls.
Yes, sir.
Melissa? Is that her name? Melissa? I really do like the redheaded girl with like the big smile and the beautiful lips and the, again, amazing rack. I love her. I like the greaser guy. The greaser guy cracks me up, like just like spitting the beer all over the place in the kitchen. There's that really cool shot when he goes down to the kitchen after he sleeps with the redheaded girl, and you see that flash of lightning and Jason's in the corner. There's some really cool moments, almost where they lean into a little bit of that Myers placement, where there's a little bit of a more mysterious element about like where he's at certain times. And I really appreciate that about the New Blood. And yes, of course, Lar Park Lincoln, gone way too soon. Absolutely. But I don't think she is the strongest performer here.
No.
And I like Bad News Cruise because Terry Kaiser puts in a really strong performance. He is bringing everything he's got, and he probably puts in the most believable performance as far as like the human characters go. And I like that we have a co-villain. I think like a true co-villain in that piece. I think it makes the movie that, that's why it edges, above stuff like Jason Goes to Hell and all the others that are behind it on the list, is because there are some elements that I can still have some fun with in this film for sure.
Okay. So either way, not very high on either one of ours, because I know some people have this movie pretty high in their ranking. I just don't personally see it, but
I think there's nostalgia is one of the reasons for this, because I think a lot of people do, fell in love with this one when they were kids. And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all have our reasons why. I think the most important thing, when we talk about these movies is just, to be able to explain it. I think some people just act like everything's a mic drop moment when they have an opinion. And it's like, but can you articulate why you feel the way you feel? I think is the more interesting part of the take or the conversation for sure.
Exactly. Okay. My number 8. This movie raised a little bit for me. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Not one of my personal favorites, but upon rewatching it, I definitely have a lot more fun with this one than the ones that were behind it. Watered down kills again, unfortunately, in this one.
Yeah.
Debbie Sue Voorhees, beautiful assets on display for the whole world to see and enjoy. That is a great scene. That her kill plus her boyfriend's kill, the strap around the eyes is brutal when you hear all the cracking and crunching. That one really works. Roy is vicious. Besides the chevrons being a different color, it's just like Jason. Everything he does is like Jason. Reggie the Reckless, fantastic. Could have got some more of him, but probably being a kid actor, we probably weren't allowed to have that much of him in this movie, I guess. Demon, didn't get enough Demon at all. Just saying. It was this one knew what it was. All started over a fucking chocolate bar. So next time that somebody offers you a chocolate bar, just take it. Like, don't be a dick. because
Don't kill him.
you'll
You know,
die.
just don't kill the person.
You're gonna die. But it's sleazy. A lot of kills in this movie, like a lot of kills.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish there would have been a little bit more gore for me.
Yeah.
But and then you got Junior and what's the mom? Ethel.
Oh yeah.
This movie's filled with a bunch of characters. It's insane. There's like get introduced to new people every fucking like 10 minutes. There's new people. You get the greasers, the mayor, the sheriff, everybody. There's just so many people. I think that's what kind of raised it up a little bit for me. Just a lot of variety in this movie. So I got to go number 8, part 5.
Yeah, and my number 7 is part 5, A New Beginning. I'm pretty much right there with you as far as this movie's got it really hits on the nudity. There's plenty of that. Deborah Sue Voorhees, really, just wow. I don't even know. I know I'm just all I'm doing is talking about boobs on this stream so far. It seems like. But yeah, she is not only it's not only just the fact that she is beautiful and has supple pouting breasts, as they would say, or as the movie Airplane calls them. There's something so fun loving about her, and I can't remember the character's name who's her boyfriend, but the chemistry there is really like you feel like those guys were having a lot of fun. And I think in this movie you get the idea that a lot of it must have been a pretty fun shoot. There's a lot of natural acting, and just there's a carefree nature about A New Beginning that I really appreciate. And Danny Steinman certainly brought the sleaziness from his porn days as a director, but unfortunately a lot of off-screen kills, a lot of kills that cut at the moment of impact. And then there are some bloody kills, but it is a little neutered on that side. It's so heavy on the nudity and not so much on the gore. If there were an uncut version of this film that came out, I could see it climbing my list and maybe even cracking the top 5, I would imagine. I do love Ethel. I think she's got so many quotable lines. Almost everything she says is quotable, whether it's I got a bomb on me, will you shut the fuck up? Calling Junior a dildo is one of my favorites. That is one ugly fucking man, or whatever she says about the drifter.
It is, mama.
And I do. Junior's he cracks me up. Those two together are a total hoot. It's I've gotten the chance to know Ron Sloan a little bit here in the last couple years. I've been able to work with him at a couple cons and interview him virtually. So nice. Very sweet guy and very open, and everything that he told me about the way things were on set is that Danny was very, an actor's director, very open to those guys playing with the material, and that it sounds like every day on the set was a blast. And I think you can totally see that. You're right. Demon didn't get enough time, but man, Miguel Nunez Jr. ruled 1985 with this role. And then of course, being in Return of the Living Dead as well. So, I think if Tommy, I wish they wrote Tommy with a little more personality. I understand. It makes sense story-wise why he's closed up and everything. I think if they just gave him just a little bit more personality, I think that would benefit this film as well. But ultimately, it doesn't bother me that it's not Jason, because for all intents and purposes, it really is. And what's cool about part 5 that I don't think gets talked about enough is that it is it's sort of the other side of the coin. It's very similar to the first film. It sort of takes it back to a parent wanting revenge for the unjustly death of their child. Now, Roy is a terrible father. I mean, he's living in the same town as his son, who's mentally diminished, but he's not in his life. But then he gets so upset when his son gets killed. It's one of those things where that doesn't quite jive. And they make it very odd. Like when you're a kid, maybe you don't pick up on it. Like I didn't pick up on it when I was a kid, but it's so obvious. Like what that he's the one doing the killing, because every time he's on camera they're like bum, bum, bum. It's very, very obvious. But a lot of fun characters here. The Lana with the guy that looks like the Micro Machines guy, snorting the coke. There's just something so quintessentially 80s about A New Beginning. So yeah, I've got it right there at number 7, and I feel pretty good about that.
You stick it there, okay. My number 7 is Jason Goes to Hell. I know,
Nice.
little
Nice.
high. Also, another movie that was always at the end of my ranking, but I just have such a blast watching Jason Goes to Hell. It's something different, something new to the franchise. The kills are pretty cool, especially the unrated one, obviously. The opening scene when the FBI is there, they blow Jason up. You're that's a holy shit moment right there. Like, how are they going to do this? Steven, I actually really enjoy. I mean, he may look dorky, but he's pretty cool doing it. You know what I mean? We get the new storyline that he has a sister and blah, blah, blah. You got the Evil Dead stuff mixed in.
You didn't even mention that. What the hell am I doing? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
He goes up his sister's vagina. I mean, it don't get better than that, really. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, it's not. That sounds a lot dirtier than it is.
You know what I mean?
The slug demon goes up there, which is very Evil Dead.
He's fucking crawling on the floor. He goes, wee. He jumps on Steven and he's just grabbing him. He's like this big. Fucking slams him on the ground. It's an entertaining movie, and you have to watch it as not a Friday the 13th movie, because if you do, it's like, this is ridiculous. But if you just watch it as a standalone Jason body jumping horror movie, it works, at least for me. And then whenever that one guy gets killed and his face starts to melt and he's stuck to the floor, and practical effect work is amazing.
That's part of that Evil Dead, blending too. It's very reminiscent to the Deadites melting at the end of the first Evil Dead. It's very similar to that. Yeah.
And Creighton Duke, I mean,
yes.
What can you say? It's like sticking a hot dog through a donut. You know what I mean? That's all it is with Creighton Duke.
That makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress.
Sticking a hot dog through a donut.
Breaking fingers for information. Like, what? Why? Why do you have to do that?
Now that's going to be very expensive, and I don't think you could pay the price.
Yeah.
This one's on. I don't know. Overall, it's a fun time for me personally. I know it's not a fan favorite. A lot of people actually, obviously, as we know, hate this movie, but just rewatch it as a non-Friday movie and see how it goes. Just saying.
It takes chances. It could have just been another run-of-the-mill Friday the 13th movie, but we've got a lot of those. So, yeah, I appreciate that it takes chances, for sure.
Fuck yeah. Oh, looks like we're number 6, my guy.
So my number 6 is Friday the 13th, 2009, the remake. There's a lot to love here, and it is, far from perfect. It's a little slick. The people are really pretty. It does, people, consider it like the WB thing because it's got Jared Padalecki and Danielle Panabaker, and it's got a little bit of that feel. But, there's something about the way that Marcus Nispel directs and shoots the horror aspects. I really like the way he uses the camera for moments of impact. He does it in the TCM remake from 2003, which I think is a very strong entry in that franchise. And yeah, these two movies, TCM 2003 and Friday the 13th 2009, have a very similar feel. But again, just like with Ronnie Yu, he's got a style. He's able to articulate that style on screen. And in this case, the Marcus Nispel style works for me more than the Ronnie Yu style. I would say the biggest detractor here is the music is like a non-factor for me. Sometimes when I watch a movie and I don't even notice the music, I'm like, oh, that's not good. Like I should notice it or remember it. It doesn't. I feel like this movie, if they used the Harry Manfredini, if they used strings and they tried to like give it that feel, I think this movie could maybe even bump it up a spot or two. But I love the look of Jason here. I like that kind of like Victorian jacket. There's some really cool shots where he's like on the little half roof of the house and you get that backlit shot of him. There's the really cool shot where he like stabs the police officers on one side of the door and he's knocking and it goes through and they've moved the camera. You see the You see what is it? Is it like a pick from like a fireplace or something?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep,
see it go through him, and the camera moves, and the camera goes inside the house. So it's a really creative kind of shot right there that I really enjoy. The asshole Trent, again, that's just something when people complain about Trent being an asshole, I'm like, these movies all have some asshole character. And then people I've seen reviews that complain about like, oh, it's a bunch of like attractive people getting killed by Jason Voorhees. And I'm like, well, that's what these movies do. So if you might be confused about what you're watching here. But I love that Jason uses a different implement of destruction in pretty much every kill is a different, like something you would do at camp. Axe throwing, using the arrow. Like he's got all these creative ways of killing. It's not, that's something you can tell they actually put some thought into. So I really do appreciate that. And I love the portrayal of Jason. I really like that we see a Jason that to me is the most interesting he's ever been in the entire franchise, because he's got his booby traps and his trap doors. I always, anyone who's hung out on my channel or watched my videos about this movie, I love that he's like a spider. Camp Crystal Lake is his web. Now, if you go into his web, he's got to take you out. He's just he's being territorial and protecting his area. It's the only place where he knew love and safety and comfort with his mom. And when you invade that space, you have to pay the price. And that's one thing I love about this movie. I wish we got a follow-up. I think Derek Mears is a great looking Jason. And I mean, and it's just outside of the top 5 at number 6 for me.
All righty. What's up, Liana? Andy Reeves in the building. What's going on? Maggot Cat, welcome in. Antonis says he likes when Trent bangs Bree. And you know what? So do I. So
stupendous. Perfect nipple placement.
I've
worked those into my repertoire. Whenever I'm getting busy, I make sure, because that's a test. If she doesn't get it and she doesn't laugh, then I can't continue.
Out.
Calling a chick bro while you're talking about her boobs to her. That's another top-notch Trent move right there.
My number 6, Friday the 13th, 1980. I used to have this movie way lower. I used to skip it for marathons. Now, no. I really enjoy the first movie. Great atmosphere, great mood. You got the rain. It actually looks dark like it's supposed to. Not like how in other movies it's dark, but there's somehow lights everywhere and it's bright as hell. No, this movie is dark. It's Mrs. Voorhees is creepy as shit. One of the best horror villain women of all time. I wish we could have got to see her earlier in the film, though. That's like the only downgrade for me. It's not really a whodunit because we never saw her. Kills were good. I think people maybe overrate these kills. Yes, it's Tom Savini. I get it, but they're really not that bloody or gory, really. Besides Kevin Bacon's, which is my favorite in this movie, and that one even messed up, and they still made it look fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously the characters are kind of there. Alice isn't the greatest final girl in the world. She's coming around to at least liking her a little bit. I don't know. This one is, if you're looking for, this is one of the creepiest ones in the franchise, I guess, because when it's Jason time, it's just Jason doing his Jason thing. This one kind of, I don't know. I could see where it took some inspiration from maybe like something like Alice, Sweet Alice a little bit. I could see some of that inspiration in this movie. It's a slow burn, of course. It's not as on the go as the other movies, but it's definitely a classic. I hear people say this movie is not a classic at all. I think it is, because obviously we wouldn't have had the rest of the franchise without this first one. Is it the best in the franchise for me? No. For a lot of people, no. But I'm definitely coming around to it. So number 6, Friday the 13th, the original.
Yeah, that's my number 5. My number 5 is Friday the 13th, 1980. I have been enjoying this movie more and more in recent years when I go back and watch the franchise. I enjoyed it before, but I'm definitely appreciating it. And pretty much because of what Aaron says right there. I really like the mood and atmosphere. It's a very low budget movie. And so I think that, maybe that's one of the things that people don't like about it, is you can see the low budget aspect of it. But it, was shot in 79, came out in 80. So it's very early on in the slasher subgenre game. This is before the boom really, took off. So this one very reminiscent to me of movies like Mario Bava's Bay of Blood or Twitch of the Death Nerve, which however that movie by. Very reminiscent to me, with that movie. And I mean, the unrated cut, there's a little bit more of that gore, a little bit more extended shots on some of this stuff. But yeah, I agree that I think that Pamela, it would have been nice if we would have seen her, maybe at the beginning in the diner, or maybe even when Steve Christie is in the diner, maybe they have a little chit chat there or something, or we see her, or just something to, just pull on that mystery and create a little bit of that doubt as to who it is. But yeah, I mean, this movie, it's to me, it's a bona fide classic. When I compare it to other camp slasher movies I've seen, I like this one more than The Burning, and I like it more than Sleepaway Camp. It's got that working for me, a lot better than those two movies. So yeah, and ultimately it does get a little slow. I think I like Alice quite a bit, but there's that whole coffee making scene towards the end where you're just like, are we really just like watching coffee being made in real time?
Yeah, we are.
Like, this is amazing. Like, what the heck is really going on? And I even like the sort of like melodramatic acting from Betsy Palmer during that whole scene. She like puts her hand up to her forehead and like leans on they should have been paying attention. Yeah, exactly. They should have never opened this place back up and like, look at what you did to him. I don't know. I love all that stuff. Chicks slapping each other around. Really, really fun. Always fun. This movie, there is something, there's just an eerie vibe about this movie. And I had to give it the edge over the 2009 remake because it is the original. It's got that classic, Hitchcockian sounding music with the Harry Manfredini score. And I think it belongs in the top 5. So that's where I got it.
My number 5, a fan favorite, Jason Lives is my number 5. I don't even know what it's fun. It's definitely one of the funnest in this franchise. Soundtrack is fantastic. One of the best things about this movie. CJ Graham is Jason. He's not one of my favorite Jasons, but he does a really good job. The kills, obviously, once again, another one of those watered down movies with the kills, unfortunately. No nudity in this one, which is also kind of a little bit of a thumbs down when it comes to a Friday the 13th movie. Character-wise, great. Tom Matthews is Tommy Jarvis, fantastic. Megan is great. Sheriff Garris. He's probably one of the best sheriffs ever in any of these slasher movies because he's actually there trying to do some shit. So the look of Jason is a downfall of it for me. Everybody heard at the Home Depot Jason. He got the gloves and the belt. I don't really like that. I do like the opening of this movie a lot when he punches his freaking fist through that guy's freaking chest and rips out his heart. That's fantastic. And he's in shadow and you just see all the shit dripping off of his face. That I love the beginning of it. The caretaker, love that guy. He's not a fart head at all. He's just doing his job. He's a damn high school graduate. That's what he is.
I deserve this job, or whatever.
I deserve this job. It's a fun time. It knows what it is. This is MTV Jason. Now there's MTV Freddy. This is MTV Jason, and we only get him for the one movie, but it was a hell of a movie to get him in. So it's not one I rewatch often, but when it comes to the overall of the franchise, I think number 5 is a good place for it. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I love that movie so much. So yeah, we'll get to that for sure. My number 4, Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Yes.
I really love the look of Jason in this movie so much. Richard Brooker is just a hulking beast of a man. The big traps that they gave him, I really dig that. When he doesn't have the mask on, he's super creepy. The introduction of the mask to me is huge. in this movie. One of the reasons why it's, you know, where it's at. I actually like the side characters here. We've got our like Cheech and Chong stand-ins. We've got, I can't remember the name of the girl, the pregnant girl that is like still smoking weed even though she's pregnant
Debbie.
or whatever. And I guess asking for beer. Debbie's asking for beer from her boyfriend too. Very odd.
Yeah.
Shelley, I'm a big Shelley fan. I like Shelley quite a bit here. I root for Shelley in this movie for sure. And you know, I think one of the things, the reason why it hasn't climbed up higher on the list for me is I'm not one of the people that's really pumped on Chris as a final girl. I don't really think the performance is quite there from the actress. You know, I think Chris is fine. She's kind of a big old cock tease as well.
Yeah.
Sort of frustrating. But yeah, you know, this movie is, I think it's one of those things that if they weren't going also, you know, if they weren't going for these 3D effects on the kills, because some of those haven't aged super well. And it's, you know, it's sort of like a little bit of a shtick thing that they're doing in this movie. I think it would probably be higher on my list if the kills were just like a little bit more believable, but we do have some great kills here. I mean, we've got the, you know, splitting what's his face with the axe, like while he's walking on his hands, splitting Andy. It's great. A little bit of a callback to the Kevin Bacon kill with the knife through the hammock on Debbie there. And then one of my favorites is him shooting the crossbow and just like, and that whole like attitude he has, he's sort of just like, yeah, I knew I'd hit her right in the eye, drops the thing, and then just like turns and looks, and the camera makes this nice movement to the one light that's on in the cabin. And I love that moment that Jason is almost like a specter in the film. He's moving around like so smoothly and quietly. There's just something about Jason I really dig in this one. And there is a good final battle with Chris and Jason in the barn, and Ali coming back and, you know, doing what he can to buy Chris some time there. And again, too, part 2, I love like the continuity, how it picks up from, or part 3, sorry. I love how it picks up from part 2 and then subsequently how it leads into the final chapter. It's really awesome that, you know, 2, 3, and 4 all happen like on the same weekend. And I think that's a pretty cool continuity aspect of this franchise, especially because the continuity gets like really wacky after that. Part 3 is in my number 4 spot.
My number 4 is going to be probably a hot take. I got part 4, the final chapter. I know it's a lot of other people's fan favorites, either this one or 4 for the most part. Is it a great slasher movie? Hell yeah. Is Ted White fantastic as Jason? Of course. Are these some of the best kills in the entire franchise? Yes. I don't really have an explanation as to why it's at 4, to be honest. I just really prefer the 3 movies ahead of it more than this one.
That's fair.
I love the Crispin Glover dance. I mean, who doesn't? The chemistry with him and Teddy Bear, great. I'm not a huge Trish fan. I know a lot of people like her as one of the favorite final girls. She's just mid for me personally. Corey Feldman, fantastic. Before he got crazy now. He's normal then.
What are you talking about? He's pretty grounded, pretty solid.
He's pretty cool.
Pretty normal guy. Doesn't tweet in all caps with like strange shorthand or anything like that.
But he was good in this movie, especially when he shaves his head and he doesn't even nick anything. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, magnifique.
You're killing me. He's killing me. That guy. Yeah, he's looking for his sister. Good old Robbie Robb, you know.
Yeah.
It's either hilarious or I don't know. I either hear people say that's hilarious or that makes him more terrifying because he's so scared. Yeah. I was like, I think it's
based on a real thing. So it's based on a true story. It's one of the biggest, like, have you ever heard of the term bystander apathy? So there's like a true story of this woman. I think it was somewhere in New York in the 70s or something like that. She was being, true story. This woman's being chased in the street. A man is attacking her. I think he's already attacked her and she's yelling for help and yelling, she's killing me. Like all of these witnesses that spoke to the police after, I don't know if they were visual witnesses, but they heard a woman in the street yelling, he's killing me, he's killing me. So that was the inspiration for Rob saying that. It was done purposely, which is interesting because yeah, people do think that it's funny, but you never know in that moment where that thing is happening to you. What are you going to think? You're going to think of some brilliant thing to say, or are you just going to like
true.
say the obvious because you're literally getting killed? And so anyways,
True.
Just wanted to jump in there.
True. Way to take that point down for me. On to the next point. Music, Harry Manfredini's fantastic. Tom Savini coming back to kill his baby. Brilliant. Yeah, I don't know. Bouncing back and forth between the Jarvis house and the other house kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. I know not that any other movie didn't do it, but yeah, they're at the lake, but it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't really feel like they're at the lake to me. Besides, obviously, whenever what's her name goes swimming, she's also beautiful as hell. Her boyfriend's death. He fucking pulls the harpoon gun in his crotch.
Oh yeah, that's painful. That's tough to watch.
Yeah, the face smash so crunchy. Kills in this movie are great, but I just don't rewatch this one that much either, even though it is great.
You're not much of a Joseph Zito guy. You didn't like the Prowler very much either.
Prowler had cool kills too, but that was Tom Savini again, so
yeah,
that explains it. The Prowler's okay. I prefer this one over the Prowler, of course. But I think number 4 is a good place for it for me personally, so that's where the final chapter goes. Number 4.
All right. And number 3 for me is Friday the 13th Part 2.
Okay.
I really dig Sackhead Jason. I love that he moves like a real man. There's no like zombie aspect. There's no traditional slasher that walks slow and still finds their way to you like all the time. I think the chase with Ginny at the end of this film is one of the best in the franchise, maybe the best in the franchise. And I love Amy Steele as Ginny. I think she is one of the strongest final girls in all of slasherdom. I wish she came back. I know that she, kind of regrets not coming back to the franchise as well. I think it would have been great to see her continue. Just imagine Ginny in Part 3 instead of Chris, and I would like Part 3 even more because there's something about Ginny she's got these smarts. She's thinking about Jason in kind of in a pragmatic, sensitive sort of way. And you can tell she's got sympathy for the character when the character is seemingly just like a myth that they're discussing at the bar. And I love that scene, just getting a little bit more of that lore and building that mythos up. And I love that she, gives Paul a whole bunch of shit. Clearly she's smarter than him, but it's not like he's some sort of dummy or anything. They're just, I like that dynamic between those two. Really good chemistry. I love the kills here. I think this movie's got some really great ones. There is a tribute to A Bay of Blood with the spear going through the two people in the bed. I think that's a pretty awesome shot there. One of my favorite shots in the whole franchise is when Ginny runs into Jason's shack and then you see, she's like taking a moment to breathe, but through the window to her right, you can see Jason running in the background. And there's something like, to me, that's so like, it almost looks like you're watching some sort of found footage or something real. So I love the realism that this one brings for sure. It's got a little bit of that grounded feel that I really appreciate. And I think it's a clear improvement over the original film for sure. And I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything else. Oh, I think, I really, oh my God. One of my favorite moments too is, Paul, I think there's someone in this room. There's someone in this fucking room. And you get, again, the lightning shot and you see Jason in the corner, Paul and Jason struggling. We're so used to in movies nowadays, Bourne Identity, I know that's years ago, but that sort of kicked off this super choreographed fighting where everyone is an expert fighter. And then, you got stuff like John Wick where it's just it's so choreographed and it is really impressive. But also, most people when they fight, they're not trained and it does get rough and tumble. And I like that Jason fighting Paul it just turns into almost like a cartoon fight of you don't even know who's hitting who or who's got the upper hand. Again, it just feels real and I really love the vibe. Part 2, I think I feel super happy having that at number 3.
My number 3 is Friday the 13th, 2009.
All right.
I absolutely love this movie. Just rewatched it, obviously, for my review of it again. Derek Mears is a badass Jason. He's one of my favorites. I think he's my second favorite.
Mm,
Wish we could get him to do more. I don't think that's ever going to happen, unfortunately. But um, the look of him was great. He was fast. He was a hunter. He, like you said, he was a spider, really. And
hmm.
he set the traps up, the trap doors. I don't think he set the tunnels up. I think they were just there, like from coal mining days and whatnot. And he
Probably.
just happened to reuse them for himself. I don't think he actually dug them like people think. He didn't have a fucking shovel and he's setting shit up. Okay.
He's Andy Dufresne from the Shawshank Redemption. He's been like, digging tunnels for years.
Digging out of here. I like that we had two kind of final girls and we didn't. Danielle Panabaker, I didn't see that coming. Did not see her getting killed at all.
Yeah.
It's pretty shocking.
Yeah.
Whitney as a final girl, unfortunately, I mean, she was sprinkled throughout, but we really didn't get to be with her that much. We just saw her a couple times.
Hmm.
Jared Padalecki, for me, I really liked him a lot. I thought he was great in this movie.
Yeah.
Little side characters like Kyle Davis in the barn selling the weed, having sex with mannequins. You know, what'd you do?
Yeah.
I almost opened up the can of whoop ass machine, boy.
Yeah.
That was good. The kills were good. The opening 20 minutes is some of the best Friday the 13th stuff in the franchise.
Yeah. It's better than Sweet Revenge. That opening is better than Sweet Revenge.
That's a
so
fact.
time to buckle up, Jason Universe, and put something better out.
That machete kill to the face when Jason kicks him off the machete. Absolutely love it. Trent, you're supposed to hate him. You do hate him. It's good.
Yeah.
He's like you said, he's a hunter. He throws axes. He shoots shit. Like this Jason is a beast, and he's not to be messed with at all. And I love the ending in the barn. It brings together like part 3, part 4, all that shit kind of combined. And he goes into the wood chipper. I dig the hell out of part 3, out of 2009. Music's good. I think we could have used a little bit more of the traditional music sprinkled throughout here, but this was some Platinum Dune shit, and they probably weren't having that. So, yeah. Looked like Texas Chainsaw 3, same everything pretty much. So it worked for me. It didn't work for a lot of other people, and it obviously worked for Cody Leach. You guys may have heard of him, great YouTuber. He's on both of our channels sometimes. He loves it, so it got to be good, right? If he likes it, it got to be good.
Yeah, and I'm curious to know, because I see Leanna there in the chat, and I know Leanna really loves a good chase scene. I think I know that part 3 is her favorite because she loves the final act and like in the chase and the confrontation with Chris and Jason. So I'm curious to know, Leanna, I don't know how much you've watched the 2009 remake, but man, it is a pretty epic chase that goes on in the last 20 minutes of that movie. They go all over the camp, and it gets really, really intense. Like there's some great tension building and some really good dread in this movie.
In the school bus, whenever she kicks him in the face.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean running through the tunnels and then in the bus, and it just is. It gets high octane there at the end.
Okay, this is it. Final 2, ladies and gentlemen. What you got at number 2?
So my number 2 is Friday the 13th, the final chapter. To me, this is it's a quintessential 80s slasher movie. It's got everything. It's got, when I think of the movies that just define 80s slashers, I think that the final chapter is sort of like the template for a lot of people. There's the sexiness, there's the humor, there's the the blood, the kills, everything. A big cast of characters that I think are probably the most likable group of characters that we have in the franchise. This group in the final chapter, like you were saying, Crispin Glover, what is he? Jimbo, and Teddy Bear. Yep. Amazing. Like all of their back and forth in the station wagon on the way out to the camp is just, it's so charming. It really sets you up. The computer, just all that stuff. There's something, again, it's so natural. I love when we spend time with these characters, getting to know them. For me, it helps me care a little bit more about everything going on. And even though they end up being fodder for Jason and it just turns into, a body count movie at some point, I do appreciate actually getting to know these people a little bit more. You know, we got the Doublemint twins that are in there. I think they're great. They're very attractive. The skinny dipping scene in this movie is classic. Judy Aronson is, I'm going to have a crush on her for the rest of my life. For me, it's like her and Barbara Crampton. And Judy still, I mean, they both look great, but oh my gosh, Judy is like next level. How gorgeous she has maintained her look and everything. But we're talking about the movie. I love her, like her back and forth with what is it, Sarah, the girl that's like a little prudish or whatever. I'm not prudish. She just hasn't had her. She hasn't had, the boys haven't paid attention to her the way that they do with Judy's character there. So I love their little moment in the bathroom where they're kind of talking about, Sarah thinks that Judy's character just like sleeps with everyone, and she's like, only Polly, but yeah. And of course the Crispin Glover dance scene is great. The corkscrew to the hand and the cleaver to the face. And then even worse than that, I think, is when he's like sort of crucified in the doorway and Jason like just pushes him out of the way and his hands just rip. It just looks so realistic to me. I love that Ted White's Jason here is grunting and kind of running still, even though technically this is like the very first version of Undead Jason.
Yeah.
And but I hear what you're saying, like the back and forth between the two houses, it does get to be a little samey during the chase. They're really just going back and forth between like the parking lot. So it's really just like 40 yards that they just run back and forth. I'm right with you there on Trish. I think she is just serviceable, but there's nothing to me about Trish that really stands out. I like I think Rob is good. I like having that character there. I think Jared Padalecki's character is definitely a sort of updated version of Rob, both in just everything about him. He's sort of a woodsman, and he's also looking for his sister. Corey Feldman, like you said, great. Just acting like a little kid in this movie in the best of ways. And Billy is asking if Gordon, the dog, survived. I think Gordon does survive. The mom doesn't survive. That's an off-screen kill, and we don't see the aftermath because they cut it from the final film. But this one also gets extra points because they use the same cabin, or the Jarvis house is also used in Pumpkinhead. So I'm gonna give it another extra point there for that. But yeah, final chapter. I think there's, if an alien landed on Earth and was like, "What is a slasher movie?" Can't go wrong showing them the final chapter. They're gonna understand what the hell a slasher movie is, and they're probably gonna have a good time. And maybe they won't annihilate or enslave us all if you show them the final chapter. So there you go, number two.
My number two is Friday the 13th Part 2. One I rewatched the most. I got to see this movie in the theater. It was amazing. The girl who plays can't think of her name, the one with the brown panties, she was there. She was doing a commentary as we watched it. Lori Marie Taylor, I think, is her name in real life. She was there. It wasn't her choice to do the brown panties. It's just what they had on set, and that's just what they used.
When was that you saw that, Matt?
I want to say like 3 years ago. I saw it.
Did you say it was at a con?
No, it was just at like my local downtown theater. It came in. They did like 31 days of movies for Halloween, and for Friday the 13th Part 2, they were lucky enough to get her, and she came in.
That's amazing.
So that was a good time. I loved Sackett Jason, huge fan. Ginny's one of the best final girls in the franchise. Mark's death is one of my favorite kills in the franchise. I love the camp setting in this one a lot. I like the characters in this movie. It's just a really, really fun time, and like I said, it's one I will rewatch probably more than any other one in the franchise. And it was one of the first ones I ever saw at a young age with my brother, so that adds to it as well. So, and this is one of the fan favorites too. It may be not one or two, but it's definitely up there for a lot of people. So number two for me, Part 2.
All right,
that brings us to number one.
Yeah, well, by process of elimination, my favorite movie in the Friday the 13th franchise is Part 6, Jason Lives. I have so much fun with this movie. When I first got into the franchise, the final chapter was my favorite for all the reasons I had previously stated. But the more I watched Jason Lives, which was one that I didn't see very much of as a kid or anything like that. I'm like, man, the Tom McLaughlin, the way he inserted humor into this movie felt so natural. He's a musician as well. And like you had said, the soundtrack is great. Not just the Harry Manfredini score, but the pop songs that they use in the soundtrack. We get a couple Alice Cooper songs here. And we get a few more for whatever reason I'm forgetting, but chat, let me know. There's not a Poison song in here, is there? Is there a Poison song in here? There's a band that sounds like Poison anyways. One of those like glam rock kind of bands. Jennifer Cook is Megan Garris, one of my favorite Final Girls. I think her and Tommy together, the chemistry is just so palpable on screen. I love their dynamic. There is something every time I watch this movie, the way that the rat-a-tat goes with the dialogue, there's something so like almost like 50s or 40s, 50s, kind of like Humphrey Bogart, kind of like just the Sheriff Garris, the way he's like, you in show biz kid, you sure know how to make an entrance. Just like all that kind of stuff. And where the red dot goes, you bang. And yeah, I don't know. There's so much in this movie that is just, it charms the hell out of me, this movie. And it's the only one where we've got kids at the camp. I think that's a really interesting dynamic to set up. We get some really great humor from that as well. The RV, set piece, that whole thing, both of those kills and the flip of the RV, Jason standing on top of it as it's engulfed in flames. Like, we just get these great iconic moments. This movie is so much fun. I have a blast every single time I watch it. I feel like I love it more every time I watch it. And even though it did fall in that, time period where the MPAA was censoring a lot of the kills, I think they get away with a little bit more in this movie than like part 5 and 7 and 8 got away with, for sure. Even though you don't, like, you see the aftermath of the one kind of nerdy girl that got killed where there's just like blood and guts all over the inside of the cabin. So they find a creative way to do it to where the MPAA, if you don't see the impact of the blade, the MPAA was okay with a splatter of blood on the window and Sheriff Garris getting like bent over backwards. Like, they're just some really, really awesome stuff. And I love Tommy as a character who is so, something about the way that Tom Matthews, his voice and his cadence and the way he performs, there's just something so, and he brings it into the Never Hike Alone movies, and particularly into part 2, where there's just something so genuine and sincere about his performance. He knows he's made a mistake. He's trying to right the mistake he's made. He does the research. We get a little bit of that Universal monster kind of vibe where he's almost sort of like a Van Helsing type character that knows how to finally put an end to Jason. So I really like that whole process. And I love that final scene out on the boat, like
on fire,
epic as all get out. So yeah, Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives, with a bow on it. Easily my favorite of the franchise.
Okay, respect it. Let me close the poll I had in there now. I wanted to know what the chat thought was the best one. And the winner from the chat is the final chapter with 57% of the votes. Jason Lives 23 and part 2 19%. So final chapter ran away with it. I asked my YouTube community, got like maybe close to 200 votes. So thank you guys for voting. I really do appreciate that. Thanks. Final chapter won that as well. It was a little closer than that, but final chapter won again. So I guess that's the fan favorite. It's not your favorite, and it's not mine, because mine is a hot take. It's Friday the 13th, part 3. 3D is my favorite in the franchise. First time we get to see Jason with the hockey mask. This is the version of Jason I think of when I think of Jason. Chris, in my opinion, my favorite final girl. I know you're not a big fan. She's my favorite. When she has to fight back, she falls on him with her ass, and then Jason gets an erection and he hits her with it. It's fucking.
What?
Wait,
does that happen?
No, it's a different movie. Sorry. But just her fighting throughout that whole third act in the barn, freaking hits him with the shovel, hangs him, hits him with the axe. That's iconic as hell. And he's fucking comes at him.
Yeah.
And then whenever he's getting hanged, then he lifts up the mask and he's like, "Arr!" Having a good time, you know.
Kind of got a little sneer on
Arr!
him. Yeah.
Yep, because he tried to rape her that one time. Remember that? That didn't happen.
Well, I guess, like that's one of those weird parts of part 3.
It's like,
It's supposed to be him. It's never been something that Jason has ever seemed to be interested in, you know.
Oh, boobies, yummy.
Or letting people get away too. That's also
Mhm.
something he usually doesn't do.
So that little part aside, I love the cast of characters. I enjoy Shelley. I like Debbie. I think she's freaking beautiful as hell.
Yeah.
I like Andy's death is my favorite in the franchise. The handstand split, slow it down, slow motion. You can't see any tricks or anything. It just looks legit. The aftermath display, it's fantastic. You got Cheech and Chong, even though the one's a girl, they're fine.
They're great.
They just have to be added in, I guess. You get Rick. You think you're going to get the big scene one-on-one with him and Jason, and never happens. He kind of goes out like a little bitch and thrown through the window. But
that's a great moment, though, when she opens up the door and she's looking for him, and little does she know that he's right around the corner. Like Rick! That's a great. The way that they shot that is beautiful. Yeah, I think. Yeah, for sure.
And then the chase scene. She goes to the van. It runs out of gas. It gets stuck on the bridge. Headbutts it. I mean, God, I love it so much. The 3D, you could see the flaws. I mean, it was a time when 3D was supposed to be cool, so I get it. But it doesn't take me out of the movie. Vera's death with the harpoon gun, absolutely fantastic. It's just a comfort movie. I grew up with this one. It was always on TV. My brother showed me this one along with part 2, so I have that connection. Richard Brooker is my Jason.
So good.
It's just a comfort movie, and it always has been. I've had 2 at number 1 before. I've had 2009, but I think part 3 is always going to stay there for me. I think from here till, unless they come out with a banger of a movie that just blows me out of the water.
Yeah.
In the soundtrack, come on, man. The theme, bow, bow, bow.
Oh yeah, the disco theme is great. Yeah.
Get the bikers that make no sense.
Like it's very active. Well, and we can't forget the couple that runs the convenience store. Yes. They are
Harold
fantastic.
And I don't know her name, but
and she is like, it's this. The actress looks like she's maybe in her mid to late 20s, but it's like they're trying to dress her up to be like 50. 40. Yeah. She's like some old lady,
But part 3 for me, absolute favorite in the franchise. My number 1.
Nice. That's a solid pick, man. Solid pick.
That's a movie though that it varies. Part 3, I've seen people have part 3 at number like 11, number 10. One of the worst in the franchise, and it blows my mind.
I'm curious to know. I wonder if just for those people, maybe it is some of the 3D kills that haven't aged as well. I think some of them are great, but yeah, I mean, Rick's eye coming out is one of those that's like, it just hasn't. I'll tell you this: Friday the 13th Part 3 is so much better than like Jaws 3 in 3D.
I like that movie too, though.
They do handle it better than the 3D effects there, but I'm guessing that that's probably one of the reasons why people kind of poo-poo it, because everything else is so like it's right in line with part 2 and part 4. It's very those 3 movies are very similar. There's there's little things about them that are kind of switched out, but they all have they've got kind of that giallo vibe a little bit, other than the black gloves, but they've definitely got that kind of thing. Yeah.
But for the most part with this franchise, you can't go wrong. You could have fun with almost every single one of these movies. I'm a Halloween guy. You're a Halloween guy, but when I want to watch a slasher, I more than likely going to pick a Friday the 13th over a Halloween movie, if I'm being honest, because they're just a little bit more digestible and a little bit more fun than Halloween.
Yeah. I say this all the time that I think this movie this franchise is the easiest one to watch. It's just a roller coaster. I could pick any one of these movies to just kind of put on in the background if I'm doing some things around the house or whatever. Again, I'm a big commentary guy, so I like re-listening to the commentaries. And yeah, these movies are so much fun. That's why it's my number 2, because out of the big 3, because Jason and everything that comes along with him it's comfort food. It's a comfort food franchise. And yeah, I take, Halloween, since it's my favorite, maybe the lesser movies in the franchise hurt me a little bit more personally because I'm a bit more precious about Halloween, and that's
Yeah.
fair too. And so I think the cool thing about Jason is that it's just a blast. You know, it's so quintessential. So many other slashers, whether or not they became franchises or not, so many slashers take, you know, half or more of their inspiration from the Friday the 13th movies, and that's undeniable. I mean, Halloween might have like solidified the formula for slashers after movies like Psycho, Peeping Tom, Black Christmas, and Texas Chainsaw, but the Friday the 13th franchise like made it a thing. You know, it was like, you know, Green Day didn't invent pop punk, but Green Day made pop punk famous worldwide, you know, and Jason did that for slashers. All right, Nick, are you ready? I'll give you one. Yep. There you go. There you go, Nick.
What's going on, Nick? Yeah, but that was the Friday the 13th ranking from myself and Davey Death Race. You got 2 rankings for the price of one admission ticket, my friends.
You know, I'm impressed that a lot of like we shared a lot more similarities there, especially, you know, the bottom part to the middle part. There's a lot of similarities there, and
just one off, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot like the cool thing about this franchise is, I never like take these like I'm pretty chill about my opinions on this kind of stuff, so it's always fun hearing a different take, and again, just hearing why people would put these movies where they put them. So, and watching everyone in the chat, it's been great. I know you're right there, Leanna, and you guys are both there with part 3.
Nick likes part 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought with Nick, because I know Nick is a big fan of Chris, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, what a fun franchise, man. And hopefully we get something good soon, although it sounds like they were not being truthful saying that they're working on a movie when they said that at Comic-Con. So yeah, we might not get one until, God, I don't know. What if they just wait until 2030, until the 50th anniversary?
Wouldn't shock me one bit at this point.
Motherfucker. We're going to get the Fortnite skins.
Yep.
We're going to get a bunch of tchotchkes we don't want. They're pretty soon you're going to go to the store. You know, you go to the grocery store now, and remember they used to have the, you know, you put in 50 cents or whatever, and you get like a little plastic ball that's got like a ring in it or some tattoo, you know, fake tattoo. Now when I go to the store, there's like these Pokemon things that you can get, these like digital machines. Pretty soon we're going to have, like, shit you not, you're going to walk into a Fry's or Safeway or Giant or whatever store you've got in your area, and there's going to be some Jason Universe thing, and you put in $5 and get some like keychain or some sort of shit with a crappy mask. You know, it's everything but what we want, unfortunately.
I know.
Yes, and Leanna, better than the Fantastic Four skins. I have to give that pregnant pause. Fantastic Four skins.
Yeah. But before we get out of here, obviously, want to know what is coming up on Davey Death Race channel, my friend.
Yeah, so right now I've got a whole bunch cooking up. So tomorrow I'm doing a before dark version of Late Night with the Davey. I've got a work meeting, so I'm having it'll be 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you're in the UK, it'll be 8 p.m. I believe out there across the pond. And we're gonna have our guy Lito Velasco on. He is Hollywood Lito here on YouTube. He's also I don't know if you're familiar with like the sexy surfer Michael Myers, like his arm on the surfboard and all that. That's Lito. So he cosplays. He's an actor, and he's also a musical composer. So he's composed scores for a bunch of these horror documentaries that we know and love. So he sort of works a little. He's got a sneaky little IMDb built up there, and we're gonna talk about Weapons, because both of us really loved the first 2/3 of Weapons, and then sort of started losing it a little bit there. So it's gonna be spoiler talk. So if you've seen Weapons and you want to hear our thoughts and everything we've got to say, again, I think Weapons was a really damn good movie. I'm very happy with how successful it's been. It's great not only for horror, but for original ideas, which we need more of in Hollywood. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. Then on Friday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a versus battle on the channel. It's going to be a Child's Play sequel battle. We're doing Child's Play 2 versus Bride of Chucky, because those are the two fan favorites of the sequels. My guy Mark from Tales from the Shelf is going to join me. He joins me on all of the versus battles. And this time around, guys, we've got our boy Cody Leach joining us. So I'm very excited to collaborate with Cody again. I've been able to get to know him a little bit in person, and then he was on Late Night with the Davey last year. So he's a huge Child's Play fan. Really looking forward to that versus battle. The great thing about that is we have 8 categories, and we're going to go through each category and award one movie the winner of each category. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a poll out there for the live audience. So you guys in the chat are going to be able to vote on which movie you think wins that category. Mm-hmm. We tally them up and we pick and we crown the champion. So, and then other than that, I'm working on some spooky season stuff that I'm really excited about.
Awesome. And Cody Leach, obviously he was just on last week. Yeah. Last week.
Yeah.
Amazing guy. One of the best horror content creators out there. Very generous with his time. Any rumors and bullshit you've heard, ignore it. He's really a cool guy.
Yeah, it's really odd. One of the nicest people I've ever, is especially coming from the musical side of show business, where they are protective and a lot more competitive, and I'm sure that exists on YouTube as well. But yeah, Cody is just one of the sweetest, just open guys, and super pumped to have him on for sure.
Yeah. Next week I put a poll out since I'm done with Friday the 13th. I want to know what the fans wanted to see me do next week. So next week I will be finally doing my top 10. I know summer's over, but it's a good way to wrap it up. My top 10 summer horror movies. That will be next week finally, and hopefully I'll be able to do this Jason X so I can just get it over with, because I put it off too long. I kept trying to get Justin on, but his schedule didn't line up with mine, and so I got to do that. But other than that, I don't know, doing some things, trying to figure out what's going to be coming next on the channel, and just going from there. So that's what's coming. Like I said, can't thank everybody in the chat tonight enough. It was a blast. There was a lot of you in there, some new faces from Davey's channel. If you're new here, please think about subscribing. Would greatly appreciate it. And if you're on this channel and not on Davey's, link is down below to his channel as well. Go give him a sub, because he's killing it over there. He's always popping with the chats over there in the live stream. So go hang out with him too.
Oh yeah, live until I die. Yeah, everyone in the chat has been great, and thank you so much for having me, Matt. You're one of the best friends I've made here in my 2-year YouTube journey. So. I appreciate you sharing the time with me as well, and I can't wait to do something with you here come spooky season for sure.
We'll get something cooked up for spooky season for sure, man, for sure. So with that being said, like this video, please subscribe if you are not. Let us know what are your favorite Friday the 13th down below in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next one. I am Fauci from Fauci Cinema, and this is and always will be
Davey Deathray.
Oh my God. See you guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Take care, y'all.
We're going to be in the bottom now.